Alright, so today we're going to be looking into the never-ending fall of NijiSanji, which is a massive case that is blowing up right now. And, of course, shout out to my buddy who gave me a bit of a tip-off about this case, because I'm not really into VTubers that much, or VTubing agencies. But this one is so high profile, and everybody's talking about it because of lots of little stuff that's been adding up over the time. And the person who's actually been affected the most by this has had to come out and mention multiple times different things, and they're of course talking behind the scenes, which we will get into. But all in all, this is a very massive case, and what actually interested me in is how this company, NijiSanji is of course the VTubing company, or the agency, and of course they are under the parent company of AnyColor Inc. And if you take a look at AnyColor Inc. right now, they ain't doing so hot, which is a little bit understandable because they literally did probably one of the most unprofessional and one of the worst terminations of any agent I have ever seen. But of course, we're going to get into this shortly. So, if you're like me and you're not really into VTubing or you're not really aware of it entirely, we're going to look at what it is, and then we'll get to the rest of it. So what is VTubing? So VTubing, or VTuber, short for a virtual YouTuber or virtual YouTubing, is a form of live streaming. So where you use motion capture to control a 2D or 3D avatar instead of your real life face and body. These people are rigged to a mocap device and their movements are tracked. So usually the models belong to the agency that they are assigned to, but some of the bigger ones, such as HoloLive and VShojo. Of course, there are also indie VTubers who can actually have enough to afford their own models, and usually people will draw this stuff up for them, all of that. And of course, how these, VTubers work is they're under an agency. So agencies for VTubers manage their talents. Often they assign them a manager that helps organize interviews, collaborations, paid promotions, and add content on streams. Sometimes they can be financial advisors, but that is not always the case. As money is made through agencies may include subscriptions or merchandise sales. So this is very similar to what a idol agency would be doing, say in places like Japan or Korea, and which is ironic enough because VTubing actually mostly originates in Japan. And as you've ever seen like early models of VTubers, it's pretty interesting stuff and pretty successful all around. And as you know, this industry rakes in a lot of money. And a lot of people watch VTubers, like a lot of people, because it's the same as following an online personality, except this person doesn't have to really show their face, and of course they're under many, many different types of agreements, just like a real star is. But of course, it's no secret that these agencies have been known for very predatory practices. And this is not just related to VTubing, but this is just across any form of stardom in general. You hear about Hollywood, this stuff happens a lot. You hear about, Korea, South Korea, especially with their K-pop idols, with the amount of conditions that they have. It happens a lot. And of course, this is Japan, and Japan's idol industry is very well known for having some very, very, very shady practices. And it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. So anyways, of course, no one's really new to this kind of stuff. We all generally know what's up with this kind of stuff. But anyways, with that being said, now that you guys have some prior knowledge into how VTubing and generally how the agencies work, we're going to go into the history of NijiSanji, and we're really going to go into how did they cause their own downfall, and basically a statement. So, let's hop to it. As I mentioned earlier, the parent company, which is now known as AnyColor Inc., was actually founded by a Riku Tazumi in May 1st, 2017. His goal was to create a next-generation entertainment company as he sets the company's mission statement using technology to transform all kinds of content into a magical new experience and providing to the world. Originally known as Ichikara Incorporation, which of course this was later changed to AnyColor, which we will see shortly. In 2018, NijiSanji, which is the VTubing agency, was founded under AnyColor in 2018. A key aspect about them is their facial or custom facial recognition app. It utilized the new iPhone X's Animoji feature. This captures facial expressions which of course then connects to streaming software to then they held auditions for their Chinese branch in Shanghai and Taipei in cooperation with Capsule Inc. Of course, this cooperation is no longer around, but just to go briefly into the whole iPhone 10's Animoji features, if you ever have an iPhone, well, of course, that generation or up above, if you ever mess around with the Animojis, you can see that literally you can swing your head, you can move it around, and the character will literally follow your lip flaps as you are talking, because of course the camera is locking onto your face or whatever, and it's looking at how your face moves, and it's translating to the phone or to the Animoji. So VTubing is kind of similar to that, where you literally have motion capture devices all over you, as I said before, and it's literally tracking everywhere that you move. So even though the movements can look a little bit like unnatural, the way the VTubers are moving, you can still see that, well, there's definitely a human behind it. Of course, there's been some people who have tried to finesse the system a bit, and that ended just as well as you expected. Okay, now, on to 2021. So, NijiSanji English, or EN, started with their first wave called Lazulite, with Elira, Pandora, Pomu Reimpif, and Fianna Ryugu. As you can tell, this would put an agency on the map even more, especially now that they have an English-speaking talent. And of course, when you tap into the Western demographics, you are just more or less broadening yourself up to more people to watch, more people who are going to check it out, and more people who are going to look into it. Because, of course, whenever you broaden your scope, you're more likely to get more people to buy stuff. Just basic business all around. And this is why you will see that, especially when it comes to movies, they're very concerned with the box office in China, because if the box office in China does really, really well, due to how many people are over there, surprise, surprise, you end up getting more revenue and more box office hits, all that fun stuff. So tapping into markets is generally what you want to do. And for something like VTubing, which was a little bit niche when it first started off, and now is a whole industry where you have people giving out agencies and all that, and people actually making really good money off of it, yeah, you're going to get people who want to tap into stuff even more. And so here we are. And of course, we're going to go into, so that was 2021. Of course, as I said, they changed the name to Any Color Inc. And now, 2022, this was the very, very, very big year for the company. As you can see here, in 2022, they had been publicly listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange and opened at 4,810 yen per share. And as you can see here, by October of 2022, this company was estimated to be worth about $2.5 billion US. So as you can see, this was a very, very profitable year for them. But going forward, onto the present day. And I know you guys are looking as I'm talking, but you can see that, you see that huge spike at the beginning when they opened up into the public market? This was massive. And of course, given the amount of time that they put into this, they had accumulated all the fan bases across. They had literally opened up their VTubers to different parts of the world. And then people are going to look at it. And then boom, what do you know? They get a big old return on investment for opening up to the stock exchange. And of course, when investors see that something like a VTubing company is doing very well and people are putting money into it, naturally, your opening day is going to be huge and everybody wants to get in on it. And over the years, it definitely, of course, stabilized, because not every company is going to be booming their entire life cycle. But there will be times where, of course, you have your little boom, and they happen to have theirs in 2022 around October, and it was huge. Now, of course, as if you looked at that graph as well, when we go to present day, it also dropped very, very low, especially compared to their peak. So we are actually going to take a look at how did that happen, because how do you go from one of the most profitable to one of the most in the detriment? And all I can say is, it's all their own doing. 100% their own doing. No question about it. On February 5th, 2024, Anycolor had put out a public statement as to why one of their VTubers, Selen Tatsuki, was terminated. And we are going to go through it because there is a lot to unpack with that statement. So, we're going to get through it. So, notification of contract termination with Selen Tatsuki. We sincerely appreciate your ongoing support of NijiSanji and NijiSanji English, or N. It is with regret that we have had to make the difficult decision to terminate our affiliation contract with NijiSanji and Livar, Selen Tatsuki, due to multiple breaches of contract with and misleading statements on social platforms. For transparency, we have provided a detailed explanation of the circumstances and reasons that have unfortunately led to this decision below. Alright, so as you can tell, typical PR stuff, the stuff that the very, very formal stuff you're going to get from a company, but we're going to keep going. Activity rules for affiliated livers. Any color has established activity rules that our affiliated livers agree to comply with. These rules are designed to prevent infringement of third-party rights, leakage of confidential information belonging to any color or third parties, damage to the reputation or credibility of third parties, and other acts that may violate rights, engage in illegal activities, or involve socially condemned behaviors. As a company, we are confident that, in order to deliver content for our fans and enjoy it in the long term, and to create an environment where our affiliated livers can safely perform their activities with the support of fans and various stakeholders, it is essential for both our livers and our company to unite and adhere to the compliance with activity rules. Yeah, I don't know if mentioning stakeholders is the best idea when you talk about a termination. While everybody kind of knows that you're in there for your stakeholders, best not to mention it too much, especially when it kind of shows your true intentions. So, violations by Selen Tatsuki of the activity rules. Despite our efforts to uphold these rules, Selen Tatsuki has repeatedly violated the activity rules since joining NijiSanji in July 2021. Selen Tatsuki's actions in violation of the activity rules encompass a wide range of issues, such as non-compliance with rights confirmation and authorization flows, which could potentially lead to infringement of third-party rights, including copyrights. The violations also include unauthorized usage of works and assets belonging to others affiliated with any color, disregarding the intentions of these parties, as well as lack of communication with creators, resulting in delays in Selen Tatsuki's commission payments to creators. Furthermore, there have been ongoing reports about inappropriate behavior by Selen Tatsuki throughout her time as a NijiSanji and Livar. We have been addressing these concerns as they arise. As a company, we recognize that these violations of the activity rules could damage the trust placed in NijiSanji, and we are also aware that such violations jeopardize the ongoing activities of other livers affiliated with any color. Furthermore, we had consistently issued warnings to Selen Tatsuki, each time there was a violation of the activity rules. However, she repeatedly disregarded these warnings, often failing to reciprocate communication with her managers. Additionally, Selen Tatsuki has repeatedly posted false or misleading information on social media, insinuating that the violations of the activity rules were due to mismanagement by any color. And we're going to look at what that mismanagement actually was in a little bit. So, like I said, a lot was said here, but a lot also probably shouldn't have been said. In May 2023, we sent a notice to Selen Tatsuki stating that any further violation of the activity rules or engaging in false or misleading statements that could damage our company's reputation will result in the termination of our affiliation contract. However, she has continued to violate the activity rules, events leading to suspension of Selen Tatsuki's activities. All times are in Japan Standard Time, and amidst the aforementioned circumstances, on December 26, 2023, Selen Tatsuki posted a music video on the Selen Tatsuki YouTube channel without prior approval as required by the activity rules. The materials for the music video were shared for the first time with our management on December 24th. Since communicated to Selen Tatsuki that permission needed to be obtained from relevant parties, requesting her to wait before releasing it. Despite this, Selen Tatsuki disregarded the notice and proceeded with the unauthorized posting. Our immediate response was to make the music video private until all authorizations were confirmed from our end. At the same time, the reasoning was clearly explained to Selen Tatsuki. However, Selen Tatsuki took to social media, specifically X or Twitter as we know it, making misleading statements that omitted essential context. Notably, management has privated the song. Furthermore, Selen Tatsuki's post includes a statement encouraging third parties to re-upload the music video, which breaches Any Color's guidelines for secondary creation, Article 1, Paragraph 2. These actions led to various misunderstandings that damaged the reputation of both Any Color and NijiSanji N. In an effort to calm the situation, we sought to either publicly disclose the relations for making the music video private or have Selen Tatsuki disclose them herself, while being mindful of Selen Tatsuki's physical and mental health. Yeah, this is really gonna come in handy soon. Management did their best to communicate with not only Selen Tatsuki herself, but also her emergency contact. However, despite frequent communication with Selen Tatsuki's emergency contact, while remaining considerate of her situation, we were unable to come to an agreement on how to proceed. The decision was made to temporarily move her access to accounts on various social media platforms and video distribution under the name Selen Tatsuki. So, like I was telling you guys earlier, when you are under these agencies, you're kind of like property. You belong to the agency that is hiring you. So they literally can shut down your accounts at any time. And actually, if you look on the Selen Tatsuki account, all the videos are gone. They are gone. So the only time you'll ever get a video from her is if it was re-uploaded. And of course, nothing on the internet is ever gone. So there's a re-upload somewhere for whatever clips of hers that are out there. Now, termination of affiliation contract. After attempting to address the aforementioned situation, communicating with the legal counsel representing Selen Tatsuki, we conveyed the necessity for Selen Tatsuki to inform the public about the reasons behind our decision to make the music video private. Additionally, we expressed to Selen Tatsuki our expectations for future compliance with the activity rules from here on. Despite our efforts, Selen Tatsuki demanded that Any Color should be held legally responsible. She claimed that she was no longer able to engage in activities as a liver due to reasons made by Any Color, was being harassed by other affiliated livers due to mismanagement, etc., while refusing to acknowledge her responsibility for violating the activity rules. Moreover, Selen Tatsuki insisted that if the negotiations did not progress, she would proceed to release a statement regarding her claims to the public. Any Color believes that the claims raised by Selen Tatsuki are in fact referring to situations that arose when she was warned about her breaches of the activity rules and attempts to shift the responsibility for these violations, damaging Any Color and NijiSanji English's image. This led to the deterioration of the relationship between her, Any Color, and other livers affiliated with Any Color. Any Color firmly believes that we and the other livers under our affiliation have not engaged in unjust practices towards Selen Tatsuki. Considering the irreparable damage to our company's reputation and threat to ongoing activities of our affiliated livers, we regrettably concluded that termination of our affiliation contract with Selen Tatsuki was unavoidable. Since becoming a part of NijiSanji in July 2021, Selen Tatsuki has undeniably played a significant role in the growth of NijiSanji. We fully understand that our decision to terminate the contract will have significant impact on Selen Tatsuki's fans and supporters of NijiSanji N. However, enduring responsible content creation through adherence to the activity rules is fundamental to our mission. It is with deep regret that we must part ways with our affiliated liver, Selen Tatsuki, as we could not reach an agreement on our points of view. However, we would like to ask for the understanding of our fans and the circumstances that led to this decision. As of today, the 5th of February, 2024, Japan Standard Time, Selen Tatsuki's activities will cease, her YouTube membership will be closed, and her social media accounts will be made private. We will also gradually halt the sale of merchandise and voice-related content. Please note that the merchandise produced in 2023 featuring Selen Tatsuki or including her in their lineup may be released in the future. Selen Tatsuki's revenue payment for these has already either been completed or is planned to be settled by the end of February. NijiSanji and VTuber group Obsidia will pursue their activities with Rosemi, Lovelock, and Petra Gurin. We sincerely thank all the fans who supported Selen Tatsuki and apologize for any inconvenience by this announcement. We humbly request for your continued support for Obsidia and NijiSanji and in the future. For all inquiries related to this matter, please contact Any Color and refrain from contacting Any Color's livers. Sincerely, Any Color Inc. Wow, that was a lot. Whew. Wow, that was a lot. But as you can see here, this is a very, very long public statement from Any Color, and it did not go over well for them. And the reason why it didn't go too well for them is because, one, there's a lot in this case that doesn't make a lot of sense in this context, especially when it comes to her uploading a video that was apparently not authorized. And of course, we're going to look at what that was called, and it goes under the name of Last Cup of Coffee. So this was actually originally made by Lily Pichu, but of course, Selen Tatsuki, or now known as Doki Bird, had made a cover for the song. And while they will tell you that she was not supposed to be posting that and it was privated, it actually would come out that, like, during the time that Lily Pichu had actually said that to NijiSanji that it was okay for them to use it. Okay, and keep in mind, whenever you're making a cover, you have to, of course, you have to record it, you do all this stuff, and you have to get your permissions and all that. So it's a bit of a process, and animating it can also take some time. So clearly, she put a lot of work into the video, and it just got privated just like that. So in some tweets, she will explain her situation, and she told her followers, "Yep, feel free to re-upload it if you want to," because she put a lot of money and effort into it. And even on her private account, she tweeted that she lost 15K of her personal money. So this is the money that she had, and something that did not last long. And I think it's safe to say that this project is what she lost a lot of money into, because you have to pay your animators and pay all this other stuff. And of course, when it's something that's for your fans, sometimes the cost can add up. Oh yeah. And this situation was really bad for her, to the point where on December 27th, Selen had tweeted about how she had been in the hospital after an accident. So bear in mind, this was uploaded on December 25th or 26th, and she was gone for 2 days after that. Of course, the stuff was private and all that, but I'm saying she was gone for a little bit. And now, there was actually a more tragic reason as to why she was hospitalized in the first place, and it's because she had a bit of an attempt, as she worded it. I'll let you figure out what that means. And so, this was because she had dealt with some built up, like, bullying from within the company, and there was a toxic environment for numerous months, and then she finally hit the breaking point to where she is like, I don't want to do this no more. And as you can tell, she was hospitalized because of it. And before we keep going, this is something I really want to highlight in these industries, especially if you're not very familiar, is that there is so much pressure to perform and to be a certain way that it takes a physical toll on people, and sometimes people just don't want to do it anymore, so they find ways to check out. And so she wanted to check out, but fortunately, of course, it didn't end badly, and she was just in the hospital. And of course, this, hurt her, and it was not very fun, but at least she got to live to see another day. And of course, she had actually requested to leave first. And in VTubing, usually when they're leaving, it's called a graduation. But as you can see there, NijiSanji had lied many, many times, because she wanted to leave first on good terms or on decent terms, but they are just like, we're going to terminate you. And now she has actually returned to streaming under the name Doki Bird, which has gained 206K subscribers like in a day. So this shows you how much support this person actually has when it comes to her career. And of course, this also shows you that the fans will go to where, they want to go to. And if they see that their favorite VTuber start up a new channel, especially under these conditions, they'll be like, well, we're going to support. And of course, as previously mentioned, but just to keep going, Any Color, their stocks went down. And it even got so bad to the point where we actually got a formal apology from the CEO. Of course, we're going to get into that. But before we keep going, one thing that actually ended up happening was that when Doki was streaming, I believe this was on February the 12th, as you can see up here, that NijiSanji actually came up with their own message and disclosed so much stuff on the live stream that that they should not have said, when they already released a public statement that Doki was like, you know what, we're just going to go and look into this with my lawyers because this is a bit much. That's what she ended up doing.
But anyway, there is like a lot of stuff going on. Also, a little bit of a note for those who are wondering. All I will say is that I will put up another statement because I believe there are some lies being told right now, and I have further evidence and proof later on. There will be a future statement being published by me later on that will further support my evidence. There is a lot of slander and a lot of lies going on right now. I'll be publishing a future statement in the future regarding it, which I have evidence and receipts as well as backed up by my lawyer.
Or, well, it's not doing, but she's in the process of doing that right now. And we're going to look at the apology. And there's also, well, and after the apology, we're going to look at one more statement from Doki. And then we're going to, of course, wrap this up.
Hello, I'm Riku Tazumi, CEO of Anycolor Inc. I'm making this video to speak directly to you, the fans of NijiSanji EN, and everyone who supports the VTuber industry. First of all, I deeply apologize for causing concern to many people. Please allow me this time to address your concerns. First, let me apologize for a misunderstanding caused by the notice published on our investor relations page on February 7th. After announcing the termination of Selen's contract, we received questions from investors regarding the impact this would have on company performance.
Now, I understand English is not his first language, so there's probably some stuff that he's missing. And then he's literally reading off of a script. As you can see, his eyes are peering all over the place. But the second that you mention something like your stakeholders, you turn a lot of people off. Like it is incredible how like people will just turn off their brains as soon as they hear stakeholders. Like, okay, these guys only care about money. And he's talking about how it felt like they were undervaluing Selen, but the way that they treated her termination, yeah, it definitely looks that way. Especially with the amount of stuff that was mentioned and the fact that this was done so unprofessionally, yeah, it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths. So, I find that's a little bit insane. But, yeah, we're going to keep watching some more of this, and let's see what else he has to say.
It ended the way it did. We regret that the notice we published on February 7th was worded this way. We made it sound like our company does not value the hard work of our rivals. I deeply apologize. Next, I will address the feedback to our announcement which led to the idea that Anycolor Inc. may not be providing a safe environment where the rivals can maintain good mental health. We take full responsibility for this situation, where not only Anycolor Inc. but also our rivals are receiving hurtful messages. I deeply apologize to our rivals and to everyone who supports them. Company actions have led to the distress of our rivals.
You can see he didn't really address what people were concerned about, and this video also had some stellar reviews, to say the least. Anyways, yeah. So as you can see here, this company is literally imploding right before our eyes because they terminated somebody very wrongfully, I might add. And the last thing we're going to take a look at is Selen actually dropped another statement today. Well, at the time I was recording this video, so today. So we're going to take a look at what she said, and then we'll go from there. I was ready to move on. I had made my last statement, and I haven't looked at anything regarding my past for a full week. I didn't look at anything regarding legal documents or anything regarding my situation since I moved back to Doki. I wanted to be more hopeful for the future, never interact with that side again, so to see it all come together and reopen a wound that I was ready to heal from and to have to talk to my lawyer again on how to respond. The document mentioned was at first made to document my thoughts and history with evidence so that my lawyer can see the general picture of what's going on. And if there were issues that should be addressed, it was first made during my darkest time mentally, and I wrote everything on my mind, little by little at the time. I made the document thinking that it was never going to be public to anyone but my lawyer, although it was a document filled with my personal information as well as privacy information that should not be public. There were no other addresses or specific locations mentioned. Regarding a recording, this was not intended to be anything other than a distribution test for planning of a collaborative event between two people, which happened to be left over from one test recording. And I never recorded any conversations with anyone. The recording that was never shown anywhere, even in a legal setting, and there are no other records. However, I regret that it was mentioned, and I am sorry to all parties affected for the misunderstanding in this. I requested that I just wanted to move on, and sometimes I didn't hear anything for days from the lawyers on the other side and felt like I'd be alone and isolated for a long time. It made it so hard for me mentally. On February 5th, my lawyer discussed and said it would be best to show the document I wrote to the other lawyers, as we have not heard from them for a week, or any negotiation talks, or given a meeting to discuss after my request to part. It was never intended to be used for anything else. I've asked my lawyer to convey that and have communication that the document as it was written wasn't given to be released anywhere. And my lawyer did so when sending the document. Less than 2 hours after my lawyer sent the document, the termination notice came out. I was shocked, but thought that was the last time I will hear or think about the document, and that this, personally and my opinion, was the end of the lawyers and legal involvement. All of the communication was done between lawyers in Japanese. Things are not black and white, and everything gets more complicated and muddled when lawyers are involved in different country. When things are conveyed to multiple parties through different degrees of communication, everything turns into different narratives and different translations. I thought it was over, and I've accepted what happened and ready to move on. Everything I posted to the public about the situation was a response. If it was a month ago, it will have been different, as I was angry, but I was also very alone in my head. But it's not a month ago, and I've accepted it. I wanted it to be neutral and private, but now the whole world is involved, and the public is watching every step that happens. I'm not perfect, and I have my faults. I had to watch my dad cry and break down in front of me for the first time in my life last night. Despite everything that has happened, please show kindness to all parties involved. There are real people behind the monitors. One of the reasons why I wanted this to be private is that the internet can be a cruel place, and I knew this would happen the moment this type of notice drops. What I didn't reveal to anyone, and only my parents and therapist knew, was that it was not one attempt but two, which happened a few weeks after the first. My parents found me in time after searching for me for hours before anything happened. I was in a really dark place, and I do not wish this to anyone. No one should go through what I went through, and I reveal this now not for pity but to state that no life, no matter what, should be risked for ego or winning anything. There are no winners in this. Please don't make it like high school. Treat everyone like adults with some empathy and kindness. For those who wish to see receipts or documents or anything else, hoping I will reveal them, I am sorry, but these are things that should be private and, if needed, between lawyers. Revealing private documents and talking about the details within will only just make things worse and more complicated, as outside parties get involved, and will just hurt everyone. No one deserves to be pushed over the edge. So many people have got hurt and involved, even if they were innocent bystanders. In the end, I will always be here to respond, and that is the only thing I will do in public. I hope this will be the last statement I have to make. So, this has been so messy to the point where this person, Doki, has had to respond multiple times, over and over again, just to get the point across that, this is supposed to be private, but they decided to put this public, and, of course, people, and she is right, are kind of crazy with it. So the fact that she put this out in public is already a little bit iffy. But like I said, I'm glad she's doing better now. And the fact that she said it was not once but twice, that's a lot. But you can see, you could actually see that this is stuff that happens a lot. A lot in this industry, that people, like I said, they don't make it. Sometimes the pressure is too much that they just want to check out. And especially when you have some of these fan bases that are rabid and all over the place and just crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure in some places some people are not allowed to have a boyfriend because their fans are that insane. And if they find out they have a boyfriend, oh Lord, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I remember there's also this case where I think BTS had to like they had to watch each other going to the bathroom because like fans would dress up as boys just to go and see them in the washroom. It's great. It's a crazy world out there. But anyways, just to put a bow on it, it's really a surprise that a big corporation with some rather shady practices was acting shady. Not really. But unfortunately, this greatly affected an individual, and with how unprofessional that they handled the situation and how everything transpired, it left a pretty big toll on this person. And I really hope that they feel better, and my heart really goes out to them, especially the fact that, they're in therapy now and they're finally able to get this off their chest and just move on to just streaming and all that. And of course, Doki wants the lawyers to take care of this, which is probably the best way you should take this on, because lawyers, they know their way around the law. And of course, international law gets a little bit messy, but either way, a lawyer knows better than any other person, and especially compared to these internet people or these internet detectives. But another case I remember this were like bad work conditions, like literally Japanese animators. When they make anime, the work conditions are hell. And sometimes it's a miracle that you get episodes that look the way they do because, well, the work conditions are terrible. Like with Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, animators were so frustrated with the work conditions that they literally went to Twitter and just like vented out everything. And they said this episode was basically not done and we had to like take time to finish it. And keep in mind, all these episodes look really good. So I want to know what other polishes they wanted to add to their animation. But these environments are hell for everyone. And of course, it takes their toll. Some people don't make it. Some people, of course, are extremely like tired. And it's a lot to take in. But yes, I really hope that Doki finds more success in the future, because this is something that really is hard to take in. It's hard to take in, and toxic work environments are a part of life. Unfortunately, you can't really escape them, especially when it's like your lifeline and you need to work. But it's on us to also see how we can mitigate our experience, and of course, we look into things like unions so that people can't take advantage of workers and all that. And this person, Doki, got taken advantage of and basically got discarded like they were nothing at all. Treated like a prop. And of course, it didn't end, at least this time though, it didn't end well for any color, but sometimes it's not so lucky for everybody else. Yeah, so, as I already said, I hope Doki finds some more success in the future and shows that despite many challenges, we can rise up and meet the occasion, or we can rise up to be even better than where we were beforehand. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow my social down in the description below, and leave a dislike if you want to. And with that being said, no, I really hope that Doki does better, and honestly, we should support her in her works as much as we can. But anyways, with that being said, Ashi is signing out. Ciao for now.